You're listening to Just Hit Play with your hosts, Peter and Nick Cabral. If you're tired of your stagnant, streamed music feed, then strap yourselves in for an intergenerational sonic journey through Peter and Nick's favorite songs.
Welcome to episode 56 of Just Hit Play. I'm your host, Peter. With me is my co-host, Nick. Nick, how you doing?
I'm fantastic, but very nervous. Big Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight. My team, Boston Celtics, are playing. Series is tied 2-2. I'm stressed. But other than that, all is well.
Now, I've been not keeping track of the game, but sort of on a peripheral level. And it seems like all the pundits are saying that Boston should be winning this series. Is that pretty much what you've noticed? Like that Boston should be a lot better than they are?
Boston is, I think, the better team. However, unfortunately, they have a tendency to beat themselves by turning the ball over and poor shot selection in the fourth quarter. And also, Steph Curry, who plays for the Warriors, is just incredible. He's an unreal player, and he just has that aura where every time he has the ball in his hands, you get that sense of dread that you know he's going to do something crazy.
Right.
And he usually does. So it's a hard-fought series so far. I think it's going to go to 7. So more stress is on the way for me.
And the game you said is in Boston tonight. Is that correct?
It's in Golden State.
It's a Golden State.
It's in San Francisco. Yeah.
Cool. Well,
yeah. So wish me luck.
Yeah. Let's see what the game is going to be later today. And so we're recording this on my Tuesday, your Monday. So we're recording early because I'm on a road trip starting tomorrow. I'm driving 9 hours sort of northwest tomorrow morning. So that'll be a fun day.
Yeah, you must be very excited for that. I mean, I know it's going to be a bit of a grueling trip, but you must be excited for the sights you're about to see.
Yeah, the problem with long trips and being a photographer is that you automatically add like 3 hours to the trip. Because if I see a glint on the side of the road, I'm stopping and go, oh, what's that? Just in case I need to photograph it. So this morning, me and Angie got up really early. We got up at 6 and went for a bit of a walk through the mangroves here near where we live. And I took a beautiful picture of a kingfisher. So I'm going to edit that later on today and just to see how good the image was. So there's some beautiful birds where we go for walks. We try to go every morning if we can. So there's some beautiful, beautiful looking birds where we go for walks.
Well, hopefully you see even better birds on your trip.
Yes.
Stuff well, you don't get at home. Do
you know what's funny is that Australia has flocks of budgies that are just wild and flying around. And I think if I was to see like a flock of budgies, I would find that really amusing because obviously budgies are pets where we grew up in Canada. Just to see them flying around in the wild because they feel like such helpless birds. If that makes any sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
and it's funny because budgies have been like a Cabral family pet for as long as I've known.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we had a budgie. We named him Crazy. And he was a fantastic bird. Our cat ate him eventually, but he was quite old when Nifty, our cat, ate him. Your grandmother always had funny thing with birds. Like I'd get a call from her, and she goes, "I think the bird has diabetes." And I was like, "How do you know the bird has diabetes?" And she's like, "It's drinking a lot of water." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh,
so I got that call a few times where she would go, "Yeah, the bird's got diabetes," and I was like, she just would sense the diabetes from the bird. So
I guess so. The vibes were off from the bird, and she went right to diabetes.
It was given that diabetes bird vibe, I guess. Yeah. No, she was.
I suppose so.
She was a hell of a funny lady. Not intentionally most of the time, but just some of the things she would say to me. Yeah, it was always good value.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the best kind of funny.
Oh, geez, I'll tell you some stories some days of some of the shit that she said to me. It cracks me up. It cracks me up to this day.
Well, I cannot wait.
All right, let's get to some music. So you're going first this week. Tell us about your song.
Yeah, so this week I decided to branch off from shoegaze, but to a little bit of an adjacent genre, which is psychedelic rock, or psychedelic pop. They're both pretty similar.
Yeah.
And this song, Wandering Eye by Sunbeam Soundmachine, has a really special place in my heart. I just love it. And sort of like your song, which we'll get to later, it gives me a really strong feeling of euphoria and happiness that I just can't really get from any other songs. So, Darren, why don't you just hit play on Wandering Eye? All right, so this is a type of song that tends to leave a pretty strong first impression.
Sure.
So I'm curious, what did you think, or what have you been thinking as you've been listening to this?
Yeah, it's a really dreamy song. I think, again, place and time of day are really important when we listen to this specific kind of music. I think in a nighttime, probably lying in bed or driving, it would be the most ideal place for listening to this type of music. I did have some problems with the song. Now, I wanted to see, is it this song or is it the band? Because the song felt a little off kilter, and it felt like they added an element to it to fuck it up a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like just to give it a weird beat, or just to slow it down a touch. Like there was something specifically done to the song to make it not sound correct, if that makes any sense. Yeah,
absolutely. I totally get what you mean. There's a strong element of dissonance, we could say, in this song.
I told Angie it was like they put it through an Instagram filter. You know?
Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah.
It just messed it up a little bit. And I was like, is it this song? So I listened to a few other songs of the band, and they do it on a couple of different songs. So not on every song. I think I like the songs better that were just clean and didn't have this little effect to it. Because I must admit, it took me out of the song a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny you say that, because that element of this song in particular, and I do enjoy this band's other work, I really like the chaos and how it feels like a maelstrom of sound, and there's not really any order or anything.
No, there's not.
That's what I think speaks to me the most in this song.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can easily see how that would turn someone off, or, like you said, take you out of it a little bit. Yeah. So I do want to correct you, though. So this is actually just one guy. Sunbeam Soundmachine is just one artist named Nick Soursby. He's from Melbourne, Australia.
Yep, okay.
And just like Tame Impala, another Australian psychedelic musician, he makes all the music 100% by himself.
So is he the singer of the band?
Yeah, he's the singer. He does all the music. He does everything.
Okay,
he just records everything by himself in the studio.
One of the videos I watched was the song being performed live, which is why I thought it was a band, I guess. Yeah,
right. Just like Tame Impala, they obviously when it's live, they need band members. But as far as the studio recordings and concepting the songs, it's all this one guy, Nick Soursby.
Okay,
Australian guy.
Let me say this about Nick. He should find a singer. He's not a very good singer.
I can't even say if he's not a good singer or not, because his voice is layered. His voice is layered in so many effects. It's hard to even really, for me anyway, to objectively get a sense.
Have you ever listened to the band Foster the People?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Pumped Up Kicks.
Yeah. Good band. Love the songs. Saw them live on TV, and I was like, oh, they should get a new singer. His vocal range is so limited that I think he has to play music like this.
Right.
because he couldn't do it. He couldn't do unless he's doing this specifically and he's an opera singer, which I don't think he is. But I think the reason why he records music like this is because he has to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So I had a much different experience with this song where from the moment I first heard that opening riff, I kind of knew right away that I'd love it.
Yep.
And like, make no mistake, it's a very simple song.
Yeah,
and like you said,
it's very simple.
Not technically complex in any music theory way. It's hard to say that any element of the song is played perfectly or done perfectly.
Nope.
But it feels massive, this song, and it fills your speakers and headphones, and it sort of wraps you up in this soundscape, soundscape of sonic energy that just washes over me. And I feel like this song is tuned to a frequency so specific to my dopamine and serotonin receptors that it just has them firing on like 110% for the entire duration of the song.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, it's hard for me to articulate from a purely musical sense why this song is so good to me, but it just is.
It's a feel. It's not something you can, like you said, it's not something you can articulate. It's more of a feeling. That's why you like this song.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Now, the other song, like I delved into the band a little bit, and because I wanted to hear other music as well. And probably the song that I heard that I like the most is one called Talking Distance.
Oh, that's a great song.
That's probably the one that I geared myself towards, because it doesn't have the same elements as this song where like there's no Instagram filter applied to it. It's just a straight song.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a more traditional piece of music than like
right. Exactly. Yes.
vibes.
Yeah.
Which this song is essentially just distilled vibes and energy and feeling. Yeah. Washed in so many filters and effects and reverb.
Yeah. The other thing because Angie walked in while we were watching the one video of the song that you got me to play, the live video of the song that you got me to play, and she goes, they could have ironed their shirts. Like they look so, like not happy to be there. Like there was so much gloom. Like it felt like their t-shirts weighed like 100 pounds.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, you're in a band. Like you're probably doing really great drugs. Like be happier, you know? Like they just seem so depressed.
Yeah, but that's the indie rock scene for you, though. They're all so depressed. It's part of the aesthetic.
You know, I love indie rock in a lot of ways, but there is an element of indie rock where the band's friends and family tell them that they're great.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's about this band specifically, but there's an element of indie rock where they stay cocooned in their city, and all they play to are their friends and family. And they friends and family tell them they're amazing, but they never stretch. That's my one complaint about indie rock. I think you have to go into hostile territory and smarten up or get much better, because there's the safe environment of being in your hometown, if that makes any sense.
I completely agree. It's like you said, you're cocooned, you're in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
And I think the worst thing that can happen to these indie bands is if their first project gets like a 9.0 from Pitchfork right away.
Yeah.
Then they're just done. They're screwed, because it takes all those things that we just said and amplifies it 10 times worse. And they think, oh, we're incredible. Everything we're doing is genius. And it just sinks you further and further into that comfort zone.
And I'm gonna touch a little bit on that in the song that I got you to listen to as well. There's a little bit of element of that in the song that that you listen to as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, actually.
Shoot.
Because you might know better than me. The really only two Australian artists that I know and listen to are Sunbeam, Soundmachine, and Tame Impala.
Yeah. Is
this psychedelic sound prominent in the Australian music scene, or is it just all I've happened to be exposed to so far?
I would say those are two very, especially Tame Impala, are very important bands or important band in the Australian scene. Unfortunately for Australian music, and I've had this argument, and people have yelled at me for me saying this. There is a hip hop scene in Australia, and it's fucking horrible.
I like it a lot.
I cannot stand.
I love it. I love it.
I cannot stand the Australian accent when it comes to hip hop. It takes me out. It does.
See, I left out any mention of Australian hip hop because I didn't expect you to know of any. But
there's a band called Hilltop Hoods that I just want to just never hear again in my entire life, and they're huge here.
I love the way that they took drill music and like sort of made it their own. Like, to me, that's really cool. It's like an offshoot of the UK drill scene.
Sure, yeah.
And so I love it a lot. I'm drawing a blank. There's
a band called Fundamentals that is okay. I hate the Hilltop Hoods. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the accent when it comes to Australian hip hop. I think it just sounds too bogan. It is. Do Canadians use the word? Do the Canadians use the word bogan? It was more like dirtbag, I guess would be the equivalent.
Yeah, dirtbag. Bogan is not a word here.
Yeah, it's a big. There's a lot of bogans here. Yeah.
There's this one Australian hip hop group, 1-4. I don't know if you know them.
No.
Oh man, they're incredible. I'm surprised you haven't heard of them. From what I've heard, they're in the news quite a bit because they're always like on murder charges and like assault and battery stuff. Like two of their main members are currently in jail on murder charges. Yeah. But they make fantastic drill music. Okay. Shitty people, obviously, criminals, violent criminals. Don't support their extracurricular activities. Sure, yeah. The music's phenomenal. I love it.
Again, the fundamentals. I like them. When it comes to the Hilltop Hoods, it is so bad, and Australians love it so much that who's that American guy that has got all the face tattoos? Post Malone. I don't know why people like Post Malone.
He's very melodic. It's the melody aspect of Post.
He released this during COVID. They did this live thing where he was playing Nirvana songs, and people lost their mind when he was playing Nirvana songs and how good he was. And I'm thinking, it sounds like Nirvana. Like, he hasn't done any. He sounds like a cover band. Like, there's no new, like, he hasn't implemented anything. He's just taken the riff and just redone it. It's like, I wasn't impressed by that. But again, maybe I'm a cynical bastard. I don't know.
To be fair to Post, disclaimer, I'm not a Post Malone fan by any means, but I've watched both his Hot Ones interviews on YouTube, and he seems like a fantastic guy.
Yeah, he's funny.
And he's a really cool guy, down to earth, super chill, laid back.
Yeah.
And Sean Evans, the interviewer, brought up, I think he brought up the Nirvana thing, and Post was like, oh yeah, like, by no means do I think I'm anything but an average at best guitarist. Yeah. It's like, they just came to me with this opportunity, and I was like, shit, I'm not going to turn this down.
Yeah.
So to his credit, he knows that he's not that great at playing the guitar or doing those things. But I agree, it's not that great.
Getting way off topic, but the funny thing about Nirvana was that no one knew what a great musician Dave Grohl was. Obviously, people knew he was a really, really good drummer, but no one knew that he was probably a better guitar player than Kurt Cobain and a better singer than Kurt Cobain. Now, let me say this. I'm not a big fan of the Foo Fighters. I like some Foo Fighter songs. I think they're a little bit mundane. But he's a hell of a guitar player, Dave Grohl, and he's actually a really good rock singer. I don't think anyone knew what they had. He was definitely underutilized in Nirvana. It was Kurt's band, but he was definitely underutilized in Nirvana.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt was the driving force. He was the creative vision. But I don't think that's a particularly bold opinion to say that. Like, I think you'd be pretty correct in that.
Yeah,
and I'm the same way. Like, I've never really delved too much into the Foo Fighters. I like some of their big songs, but yeah, there's no denying Dave Grohl is fantastic at everything he does, and he's also a cool guy.
Yeah, I saw them live years ago. So I've been in Australia for 15 years. This has got to be about 20 years ago. I saw them live in Mississauga. They were playing near Pearson Airport. There used to, I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be like an old airline hangar near Pearson Airport where bands used to play. I saw Radiohead there as well. And they were really fun. They were a good live band. They had a lot of energy. I just think their music's probably a little bit dated now.
It's a little derivative to me. Yeah. But so to
bring it back.
Cap off my question. The psychedelic sound, it's not super prominent in Australian music. Like it's not everywhere.
no, Australian music's pretty varied. There's a band out of Perth that I really like called San Cisco. They're a particular favorite of mine. There's another band called The Preachers that I sort of dig. Now remember, Australia is the home of AC/DC.
Right.
And Midnight Oil. So there's a very authentic pub rock sort of scene in Australia. So yeah, I would say it's like every sort of country. There's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, pretty diverse. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But cool. Yeah, what maybe on Australia Day next year, I'll play you some San Cisco.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, so a nice band out of Perth.
Glad that you can appreciate why I appreciate this song. And I'm glad you found another song by this artist you like. Talking Distance is a really, really great song.
I really dig that song.
But yeah, this song, Wandering Eye, it's like we've said, it's just really one of those things where it's super personal to me as to why I like it. And yeah, you just sort of have to feel it. And if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. Yeah. So, either way, I love it.
How about you, Darren? What did you think of the song?
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Nice and mellow.
All right. Thank you, Darren. All right. Let's move into some Kim Wilde. Now, I said last week before you listened to the song, you probably have never heard the song, but at the same time, the song sounds familiar. To me, it sounds like it should be in every movie soundtrack from like 1981 till about 1985. That's about teenagers.
Absolutely.
I could
not have said it better.
Doesn't it have like that feel of like, I probably have heard this in a movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like Ferris Bueller and his friends should have been listening to this, like speeding down the interstate, going to some party at night or something.
Yeah. It has that unfamiliar feel if somebody who's never heard the song before, but when you hear it, it's like, this sounds so familiar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, before we listen to the song, let's go into a little bit of back history. So Kim Wilde, her father was a guy named Marty Wilde, who was a 60s British singer, and his big song was called Teenager in Love, which was a cover of I think a Dion song. So Darren, just let's hear a little bit of Teenager in Love.
Why must I be a teenager in love?
So that's a very typical early 60s type of song. And her brother, Ricky Wilde, was a musician very early on. And at the age of 11, he had a #1 hit in Sweden called I Am an Astronaut. And let's hear a little bit of I Am an Astronaut.
High up among the stars. High up among the stars.
Weird song. Okay, you can tell it's written by an 11-year-old. The reason why I bring that up is because those two people had a very important influence in Kim Wilde. Obviously, her father being her father, had a big influence. So Kim is the oldest of the Wilde children, and Ricky is her younger brother by a year, I believe. So Ricky had a record deal, and he brought Kim along to the sessions so she could do some background vocals. Now, Kim had this idea of dressing really, really well. She goes, I'm not going to be doing backup vocals. And because she's really, really pretty. And the record label agreed that she should not be doing background vocals. And so Ricky, her brother, this is, how there's Billie Eilish and Phineas?
Yeah.
So this is sort of an early version of that where Ricky wrote the music. And the first song they ever wrote together was this song, Kids in America. So she tells the story of being in the bedroom next to his and just hearing this really, really terrible synth. I don't know, at the beginning of the song, there's like this really repetitive note at the beginning of the song.
Yeah.
And she goes, she just wanted him to stop playing that, or him to stop playing that, because it was really, really annoying. And then she realized that she'd be hearing that note for the rest of her life, because that was the song Kids in America. So let's listen to a little bit of Kids in America by Kim Wilde. Darren, just hit play.
Looking out a dirty old window, down below the cars in the city go rushing by. I sit here alone and I wonder why. Friday night and everyone's moved. I can feel
All right. So tell me what you think about the song.
I love that synth. Do you not like that synth?
No, I do. I wanted to tell
Okay,
this.
okay.
This was her words, that she hated that noise that was coming out. Yeah.
Got it. I wasn't sure if you shared her opinion or not, because
It was her
to me,
opinion, yeah.
that synth line, like, that puts the song together for me. I wouldn't have enjoyed the song nearly as much if it wasn't for that. And it's just so 80s, like we said.
It is so
it's
80s.
so unequivocally 80s.
Yeah.
Everything, the whole atmosphere of the song. It's carefree. It's, oh, we're kids and we're gonna go out to the roller rink and party till the sun comes up and all these things, with a crazy synth line. And yeah, it's a fun, catchy pop song.
Yeah.
But it's very much a product of its time, I think.
Yeah, I think if that song was so specifically like early 80s, because the song was released in 1981, that by like 1986, I'd be like, oh, I don't want to hear this song anymore. Like, it would take like a lot of years for it to come back, to go, okay, yeah, that's cool, I can listen to that song. Yeah, I would say by 1986, I'd be like, I don't want to hear this song anymore.
Do you think it would reach Maria Maria tier for you?
Well, let's get into that a little bit, because when the song came out, again, she was an unknown singer. This was her first single. It sold so well that the people that were keeping track of the record sales thought that a scam was happening and didn't list her on the record sales, because they thought there was foul play. So they thought, no way could this song be selling the amount that it was. So yeah, it wasn't until week 2 that they're like, okay, maybe this is selling quite a bit. So it was left off the charts, off the official charts, because they thought there was foul play.
Well, if I was 13 or 14 in 1981 when this song came out, I would have played the shit out of this song.
It's a good song.
Especially like during the summer.
Yeah.
It feels really, and I alluded to this earlier, but it gives me, again, a little bit of a euphoric feeling, really uplifting, energetic, and it sounds like just youthful, carefree summer nights. So I think it'd be a really, really fun song to listen to as a person.
Yeah.
In the 80s, in that time period, I would have a blast listening to this song, without a doubt.
Well, it's got all the good qualities of an 80s song. It's got like really crappy synth. It was recorded on something called a Wasp synthesizer. So the synthesizer is like a cheap piece of crap. So it's got that. It has mindless sort of lyrics. The lyrics really aren't about anything particular, and it's got
Just having fun.
Yeah, it's got a pretty girl singing. So it's the perfect 80s song.
Yeah, and you even get some good backing vocals action.
You do.
I really did actually like those male background vocals.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really nice touch. Again, just adds to that feeling of like euphoria and happiness and happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. I really love the song. I think it's, like I said, it's the perfect song to be put on any soundtrack. Even today, if you were to make a movie, or like, last week we talked about Stranger Things, this could definitely feature on like a Stranger Things episode, or a movie about kids in the 80s. It's just iconic. It's perfect.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind. And just because it's so popular in the zeitgeist right now, and I just watched it last week, I could not stop thinking about Stranger Things this whole time. I think Stranger Things has done a lot for 80s music in the last 5 years. Synth music, 80s music.
I was going to ask you, now I alluded to it last week, that Running Up That Hill, there was this very specific scene where Running Up That Hill was featured. I'm guessing you've now seen that episode.
Yeah, I finished the first part of this scene.
Yeah.
I've watched everything that's been released.
So how cool was that scene where Max is sort of running with the red light and things falling? It was filmed so beautifully with like things
Oh my
falling
God.
around her as she's running for her life, basically. And to that song, there is a reason why that song is popular now, and that scene I think is it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible. That's one of those rare mergers of visuals and like film with music that just is a perfect harmony.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really like how the song was used as just like a running motif throughout her whole storyline. Is kind of always playing in the background.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. Just really well done.
If I'm not mistaken, apparently I saw an interview with the creators where that song was going to feature again in the final episode.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
So yeah, I think I remember that correctly. So let's see if I'm right. Where it could again feature on the final episode. Yeah.
So for some super strange reason, when I was listening to the song, the name Green Day popped in my head. I couldn't tell you why. I have no idea why I associated this song with Green Day for a brief moment. Maybe it's just the energy of that synth line or something about the chorus that just reminded me of a Green Day song.
Sure.
But I was curious, so I looked up Kids in America Green Day, see if they had interpolated it at some point or something like that. Not the case, but I did find out that Billy Joel Armstrong, the singer of Green Day, actually covered this song and put it out on YouTube 2 years ago.
Right.
And I don't know how you feel about Green Day, but it's actually a pretty good cover.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to it. Yeah, I don't mind Green Day.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I like a lot of the old sort of like the first album, and then there's some of their EPs. American Idiot I really liked as well. I haven't heard anything I think since American Idiot, but I don't mind Green Day. I really like them.
They had this album come out in 2009, I think, and that was the first Green Day I'd ever heard. I was 9 years old at the time, and I think I heard one of the songs in like a movie or video game trailer or something. So I bought the album on my first iPod Touch.
Yep.
And I played the hell out of that album.
Yeah.
Whatever their project in 2009 was, I loved that thing as a little 9 and 10-year-old.
Well, in 1990, I'm going to say 1994, I had tickets to go see Lollapalooza in Barrie, Ontario. And Green Day were the opening act, and we did not make it in time for Green Day. So
that's a shame.
We missed Green Day. That was, I think, Basket Case was the name of that album, which was their first sort of proper album. So yeah, they were opening the festival, and we didn't make it.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I'd say we were really hungover, and we were staying at a friend of mine's house who lived down the street from the entrance to the park overnight, and of course we didn't get any sleep, and we probably slept in a little bit, and then didn't get into the show probably till like 2-3 o'clock, and Green Day had that come and gone. Yeah,
that's a real shame.
Yeah, that
would have been cool to be able to say you saw Green Day in 1994.
I think that was the show where we saw who sings Insane in the Brain? Oh God, I'm blanking on the name of the band. Look it up, Nick.
I'm on it.
Cypress Hill. I think that was the show that Cypress Hill were playing Lollapalooza, and they were absolutely fantastic. So they had fake bongs, huge bongs on stage that were billowing smoke as they were sort of as they were sort of playing the music. It was pretty good. Yeah.
What's their other song? They have a song that I know. I didn't know they did Insane in the Brain, but they've got one other one that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, a few years ago there was a movie that came out, and they teamed up hip hop bands with thrash metal bands, and I think Cypress Hill did a song with Megadeth. I think that was pretty good.
Whoa,
yeah,
that's a collaboration and a half, right?
Yeah, there. It was that the whole soundtrack was hip hop bands with Like they had Sonic Youth with, I think, Public Enemy. And
Wait, what?
have you heard of a band called Sonic Youth?
I love Sonic Youth.
Yeah, I think they played with Public Enemy. Yeah, it was like
I know what I'm.
I think it was Public Enemy. It was like one of those sort of things. Yeah.
I know what I'm looking up as soon as we finish recording.
Now, Sonic Youth, I've seen a lot of times.
Are you serious? I love that band.
I've seen Sonic Youth a good 5 or 6 times. Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say I love that band. I only have listened to Daydream Nation, but I can't stop listening to that album.
Yeah, listen to the album after that. The album after that is really good as well.
If I ever can claw myself away from Daydream Nation, I will.
Yeah. I've seen Sonic Youth a few times. In small clubs too. I think I've seen them twice in very, very tiny clubs. The 90s, Nick. The 90s,
so good live.
Very good live, yeah. Yeah, the 90s were amazing. Like, just to put in perspective, I've seen Sonic Youth in a small club. I've seen Oasis in a small club. I've seen the Smashing Pumpkins in a small club. I saw the Violent Femmes in a small club. It's crazy the amount of the really big bands that just toured. They were just starting out, and they played small venues.
And you're very lucky you had a friend who worked at a radio station that you could just go to shows.
Yeah, she was
whenever.
Vishna. That was her name. She was great. She gave me a lot of tickets. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
But you never got to see Kim Wilde live, I assume.
No, I would have been 9 when this song came out. So this definitely would have been beyond me at the time. Your dad might have been old enough to see Kim Wilde. You'd have to ask your dad. Does he know the song, and does he like Kim Wilde?
Did she have much of a career or like success after this song, or was this sort of it?
So Kim Wilde is a British singer, so she definitely had a lot more success in England than she would have had in North America. We featured her a little while ago. Remember there was the Supremes, Diana Ross song, and then it was the Kim Wilde version. So who played it better? Right. We both said we liked the Kim Wilde version better than. No, I think you might have said this. You liked the Supremes version better.
I liked the Supremes version better. Yeah,
that was another big hit of hers. You Keep Me Hanging On. That's what it was called.
Right. Yeah. No, I like the original better.
Yeah. So that was her other big song. So it's this one, The Kids in America, and You Keep Me Hanging On, the cover she did of the Supreme song.
Okay, good to know. Well, honestly, like I did like this song. I can't see it getting heavy play from me. Just not really. I feel like I'm not the demographic for this song. Like I said, early teens is sort of what I envision. Really enjoying this, relating to it. I just think it's a well-made, catchy pop song. I very think very 80s.
I wanted you to hear just for how familiar and unfamiliar was going to be at the same time. I thought that was a bit of a kick. How it just sounds like I've heard this song somewhere. It just sounds like a song that was created, like not by an artist, just by the decade. It was just created by the 80s. Yeah,
absolutely.
It has that feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a sonic manifestation of 1981.
Of what 1981 should sound like, yes. How about you, Darren? What did you think of Kids in America?
Yeah, I think I've always heard it, but never known what it was. But I like it.
Great. Thank you, Darren. All right, tell me what song you have for me next week, Nick.
So next week, we're bringing it back to hip-hop, and we're going south. You're going to listen to Keep the Devil Off by Big Crit.
Cool. Never heard of it. And for this month, we're still in the 80s month, so we're almost done with the 80s. So what I'm getting Nick to listen to now are female artists from the 80s specifically, because a few episodes ago, we listened to mainly male artist songs of the 80s. So we're going to continue with female artists, and you're going to be listening to Sushi and the Banshees with a song called Cities and Dust. I don't know if you ever heard of Sushi and the Banshees. I
have. I have heard of them. Never listened to them, though. Yeah. I'm intrigued.
One of the things I forgot to tell you when we listened to the Cure song was that Robert Smith, lead singer of the Cure, used to be in the Banshees, used to be in this band. I think he was the guitar player of the band, but then left and wanted to do his own stuff.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see what you think of Cities in Dust.
Awesome. Yeah, can't wait to talk about it.
All right, let's get on to
This Week in Music History.
So in 1973, Paul McCartney is still number one with the song My Love. So let's go with the number 4 song by Billy Preston. Now we're going with this whole Beatles theme because Billy Preston played a lot on Beatles music. So he's passed away now, but Billy Preston used to be a very amazing keyboardist, and he played on a lot of Beatles records. So we're going to listen to Billy Preston with the song "Will It Go Round in Circles." Darren, just hit play.
Will it go round in circles?
Right, so in 1973, that was the number 4 song on the charts. In the year 2000, guess what, Nick?
Don't tell me.
We have a new number 1.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it's Enrique Iglesias.
I like him.
With the terrible song called "Be With You." I was so happy when I was like, oh, good, it's not number 1 anymore. It's like, oh, shit, it's Enrique Iglesias. I hate this song.
I don't know this song. I don't know this song, but he had a few songs with Pitbull I liked in like 2010.
He did have some songs with Pitbull. Thank God, together at last. So we're going to listen to "Be With You," a few seconds of it. Just a few seconds, Darren, please. Let's hear "Be With You" by Enrique Iglesias. That's enough, Darren. That's enough. It's a bad song. Yeah, because I had to watch the video for that as we prepared for this thing, and I'm like, oh, God, the year 2000 had some bad music. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. My birth year is could have been better.
Well, you still had, Country Grammar by Nelly. You had Britney Spears.
Banger.
Yeah,
Banger.
so you had some great music in the year 2000. Unfortunately, mixed in with that is Creed, Enrique Iglesias, Santana. Those are the problems. You sort of got that intermingle of really awful music in with that as well. Yeah,
you take the good with the bad.
Do. What are your plans for the rest of the week?
Well, I've actually got my graduation ceremony on Wednesday.
Nice.
Convocations. So got that to look forward to. I say look forward, but I'm really neutral on it, just for the whole like sitting around aspect and waiting for your name to be called.
Yeah, there's a lot of hours.
A lot of hours, yeah. But it'll be cool to walk across that stage, I guess.
Yeah, congratulations! I'm very proud of you. That's amazing. I wish I could be there. I'll come back for your doctorate. How's that?
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, so that's it.
No, I'm curious because I've been to a lot of graduations, and every graduation I've been to, the chancellor or the vice chancellor, whoever's doing the opening ceremonies of the graduation, asks all the students to stand up and clap for their friends and families that have helped them throughout their degree. So please, next week, let me know if that happened, because I want to know if it's an Australian thing or if it's just a universal thing. So yes, I'm curious to see, because every graduation that I've gone to in Australia, because I photograph obviously a lot of graduations, that is done at all of them.
Okay, yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah. As I said earlier, I'm off on a road trip next week, so I'm driving 9 hours tomorrow northwest, and I'm there for a few days in an Aboriginal community. Then I come home. Yeah. So hopefully I'll have some lovely pictures of birds. I'm going to see if I can photograph some budgies on my trip. So yeah, let's see how we do.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some good bird pictures and some good stories out of that trip.
And the Celtics winning the NBA championship.
That would be nice.
It should be over by this time next week, shouldn't it?
Yeah, if there's a Game 7, it will be Sunday.
Yeah,
upcoming Sunday.
By the time we record again, you'll be happy or sad.
Correct. Correct.
So let's see how the week goes. So our independent artist this week is one that we featured before. The band is MoZza, and this is the song called "Take Me by Surprise." Now we're lucky enough to get Tiff from MoZza to leave a little bit of an intro what the song's about. So Nick, we'll talk to you next week, and take it away, Tiff.
Hey guys, it's Tiff from MoZza. So Take Me By Surprise is the first song we got to experiment with our good mate Yusuf Merman, who did the production, and we added sexy saxophone and trumpets, and we played around with a lot of synth and effects that we'd never got to play around with before. And just the whole concept of this single is about doing something spontaneous and creative. And the lyrics and the story behind the song is more about wanting to do things without having to worry about the repercussions of it, and just be completely out of control and out of your mind and just living Some of the lyrics are inspired by that feeling you get late at night when you're out and you miss someone, maybe someone you shouldn't miss, and just wanting them so badly. One of the lyrics I love to point out is, it's you who I feel in the stranger's embrace, but I long for your taste. And, you know, that kind of sums up how the whole angle we were going for with the instrumentation and the lyrics and the bridge. Have a listen to the bridge, and, you know, take what you want from it. The lyrics are ambiguous, and really just let yourself be swept up in all that Take Me By Surprise is.
Embrace, but I long for your taste. Intertwine your body with mine, even on a cold night, on the coldest night, on a cold night. Take me by surprise, breathe me back to life. Suddenly I'm paper thin, inches away from the moment I fell, but I long for your taste. Even on a cold night, on the coldest night, on a cold night, take me by surprise. Blisters on her cold, dancing on my tippy toes, and I cry, keep me warm tonight, oh darling, I love you. Take me by surprise, breathe me back to life. Take me by surprise. Call me again, again, again. Call me again, again, again. Call me again.
You've been listening to Just Hit Play. To contact your hosts, Peter and Nick, or to be featured on an episode as musical talent, email justhitplay7300@gmail.com. Keep up to date with news and announcements by following on Instagram and Facebook, linked in the show notes. Subscribe on your favourite podcatcher to tune in next week for more sonic delights. And if you can't wait till then, check out the Just Hit playlist on Spotify, linked in the show notes. A special thanks to Braden Munch for the theme song, and thank you for listening.